Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom. But before I begin, please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share, and leave your comments down below. And if you're interested, we also have a membership and that is also available in the description box below. But welcome to Love After Lockup Season 4, Episode 7, Ride or Die. Now this is episode before the season finale next week. And I think it was a little bit more of a filler episode before we get to the finale. So there wasn't too much given, but there was just enough information to keep you interested. So let's get started. First, we have Justine. Now, Justine is questioning the gift that Michael gave her for their wedding present, that Mercedes SUV that she got. Now, her cousin came to visit and her family's been asking, like, where is Michael getting this money? I mean, he's in prison, so he doesn't have a job. And, where's the money coming from to buy such a big gift for you? So, Justine previously was thinking like, I don't know, I don't ask. But something inside her this time was thinking, let me take the car down to a dealership and maybe they could give me some information to see if the car really is legit. Because, listen, I have my kids and I'm not going to be riding around in something that's not on the up and up. She's not trying to get in trouble or involved if there's something shady going on. So when she gets to the dealership, she asks for assistance. And so the guy that's helping her, she's saying, well, I want to find out if my car's legit. And he's looking at her like, what do you mean? She said, well, my husband's in prison and he gave me this present as a gift. And I just want to make sure, there's nothing going on, that he got it the right way. And so the guy's looking at her. I mean, what I got from it, he started to interrogate her like he worked for the police, the FBI or somebody. So one of the things he said was, so where's the paperwork? She goes, okay, well, I think it's in the car. So they walk to the car and they open the glove box and it was the car manual, about the radio, the steering wheel, just different little things about the car. He goes, no, that's not the paperwork. Like, where's the paperwork? She said, well, that's all I have. And so again, the look on his face was like, is this really on the up and up? And then again, there's cameras there too. So who knows why? So when they go inside, I guess he decides to run the vent or something to see what he could find out. But in the same breath, he goes, well, I'm trying to help you out. But then he says, but I'm not trying to be all in your business. So I'm thinking, yeah, you are. Because that line of questioning that you was giving to her is in her business. So as he brings up whatever he's looking for on the computer, he tells her, well, in the state that they're in, I believe it's New Jersey, the car is legit and it's also registered to you. So, for when it comes to that, you don't have nothing to worry about. So Justine is happy to hear about that. So, she thanks the guy and then she leaves to go home. And then later we see Michael call. When she's telling him about it, she's saying, I don't want to have any secrets. I want to let you know what I did today. Michael is pissed. He's saying, so, you don't trust me? He's pretty much bottom lining for her like, you might as well be like the people that got me in here, when really you got yourself in there by doing what you were doing, just in my opinion. He's trying to figure out why don't you trust me? If I give you a gift, is on the up and up. You don't have to do no research or nothing. He goes, so the jewelry, the necklace around your neck, did you get that checked out too? Did you find out if those were real diamonds? Because they are. And Justine don't have nothing to say about that. But again, you're giving her all these gifts and things like that, and you're in prison, and apparently, no one really knows where your money's coming from or not saying. Is it wrong for her to question it? Next up, we have Emily. Emily gets a visit from her friend to see how she's doing. I think this is the same friend that either owns the bar or something about the bar. I don't know. We've seen her before. Emily's telling her friend that, guess what? She's finally going to go visit Dory after 3 years. But Emily doesn't seem excited. She's just all one note all the time. Just yeah, I'm going to go see Dory. Yeah, it's been 3 years. No, I don't want to get up early. No, I'm not getting excited to see him. Just all if you're not into Dory, but then again, her catch line, her tag phrase was, if you think he's scamming me, I'm going to scam the scammer. But why would you invest 3 years into a relationship if you don't want to see him and all this other stuff? I mean, you're already a notary for him and you handle all his money. So I don't get Emily. I think Emily is catfishing Dory in a way, because the photos that she sent Dory and the way she looks now, I mean, maybe, a year or 2, 3 years ago when they met, she did look that way, but now she doesn't. So maybe she feels like he may not think she's the same person, but you're the same person. That's who you're talking to. So whether you lost weight or gained weight or whatever the case may be, I mean, it's still you. And if someone loves you, they will love you for you. But anyways, her friend goes outside to say that, she doesn't know if Emily's really doing the right thing when it comes to this relationship. She knows that Emily is, pretty much talks a good game, but when it comes to in-person relationships, that's where she tends to pull back some. And so in the next scene, we see Smoke. Smoke is at lunch. That's Dory's bunkmate from prison. We see Smoke at lunch with his friend named Pipsqueak. They're having lunch and he's talking about, oh yeah, give a little background on Emily and Dory. And then the phone rings and it happens to be Dory. And Dory says, yeah, Emily was supposed to come up here to visit me and whatever happened didn't work out and just this and that. And Smoke is saying, what? She hasn't come up there? She hasn't seen you in 3 years. Do you think she's scamming you? Dory's like, nah, I don't know if it's like that. So Dory is saying that Emily is the love of his life and he don't think that she would be doing that. But Smoke is saying, you know what? You haven't seen her. She's doing her best not to see you. So are you sure? So after the phone call, Smoke tells Pipsqueak, like, man, he hasn't even seen her, held her, or even had relations with her, and he's falling for her. And Pipsqueak says, well, some people like that. Some people I think she was trying to say some people like that type of drama. So yeah, that's the type of relationship that Smoke sees that Dory's in. But Dory can't see it for himself because he's into what Emily is saying. That relationship that they're building online, that sweet talk on the phone. So then when we see Emily again, producers say, so how come you didn't go to the prison to see Dory? And Emily says, you know what? I don't like to be interrogated. I don't like to answer these questions. It's my life, stuff like that. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Wait. You do know you're on Love After Lockup and going to see these people eventually if that's what you're going to do. So what do you mean? Why are they asking you these questions? Next up, we have Melissa. Melissa is finally on her way to see Louie at the transitional center. Melissa has already engaged herself in Louie's life by going to visit Mama Donna, to go to take a yoga class from the yoga instructor who was teaching everyone at the prison and the transitional center. Already went to go see the pizza shop owner where Louie may have a job when he comes back home, and just all in his life. And so Melissa's saying, all this time, Louie has told her, or at least she thought, that he was going to come home to be with her, when instead he's going to stay right where he is. And she wants to know why he didn't tell her that. So today is the day of her visit. So while she gets there, she's looking around. She sees the prison fences and the buildings and just the institutionalized way that they have it set up there. She goes, wow. She goes, now reality is setting in. She says, I was envisioning the Louie from high school, when in reality it's the Louie that's in prison, and I'm hoping he's going to give me the answers. And I'm thinking Melissa is finally set in, adulthood, that you're no longer 15, finally set in, and you're visiting a man who has gotten himself in this predicament by his choices made in life, and you're going to finally visit him for answers. So Melissa goes into the transitional center, and when she comes out, Melissa has this epiphany, wow, I just can't believe that this is going on. We'll see, hopefully in finale, what Melissa is going to decide, whether she stays in Georgia or she goes back home to New Jersey or wherever she's from, with or without Louie. Next up, we have Jessica and Dustin. Now, Jessica's still upset that her visit with Dustin was canceled. Dustin was taken away to locked down for 60 days. They canceled her visits. They canceled her sending commissary. They canceled her phone calls, just everything. I mean, she just cannot believe why this is happening to her. Now, Jessica, for the umpteenth time, you were a nurse in the Department of Corrections, where Dustin was first, and then in different facilities. You can't visit Dustin because you know the ins and outs of the facility. Like you are a liability. Why this isn't going through her head, I'll never know. I'll never understand. Well, Jessica gets a call from one of Justin's bunkmates or someone he met in prison by the name of Scuba Steve. He's not using his real name. And he's the one that's giving her information on Dustin about him being locked up and, just trying to pass information along to Jessica on behalf of Dustin. And he's not really giving her too many answers that she don't already know, like the reason why she can't see him and stuff like that. And then Jessica asked him, so, is he in the hole for, the visit or because he was using? And it sounded like Steve said he didn't think or he didn't know he was using or he wasn't sure. And so Scuba Steve said he would keep Jessica in the loop with anything that he finds out. And Jessica's like, oh, okay, that's fine. And so Jessica also tells us that, it costs to get information that she'll continue to put, like, whether it be commissary or stamps on for Scuba Steve so that he can keep her in the know. Now, later on when we see Jessica, she's talking with her daughter, Bailey, and Bailey is questioning her mom, like, is she still, with all the information she knows now about Dustin from when she found out from his mom and his sister about being a drug addict and just different little issues he's had while he's gotten in and out of prison, if she was still gonna move to Tennessee. And Jessica said that she was, and Bailey said, you know what, how do you know, like, this is gonna change? Like, this is gonna change the dynamic of everything. Bailey says her mom, if she does go, she needs to think about everything, what she could possibly be losing. And that Bailey said she also wasn't going. She told her mom she wasn't going again. She's not giving up her friends or, where she's going to go to college because she's a senior close to graduating. And then Jessica's like, I really don't know if I could go without you. Well, your daughter's been telling you she doesn't want to go anyways. And why would you give that up for a 28-year-old man who has been in and out of prison on drug charges that doesn't seem to get his life together? So I don't know. Your daughter is giving you some sense here and you're not trying to take the advice. Now we have Ty. Ty is in the car. She's driving, going home, and she gets a phone call, or she's already on the phone. It says with boyfriend number 3, Marquise. He's telling her little sweet things in her ear. She's like, okay, Papa. I'm thinking, all right, so you're checking them off on the spreadsheet that you have. Because we've already known that Ty had different boyfriends along the way. It wasn't just Hottie. It was other people too when we were introduced in her first season on Love During Lockup. So Marquise is telling her, like, I want you to give me your heart, not just a piece of your heart, all of your heart. And, I want some more pictures of you. She's like, okay, I will. Just all the little stuff that Ty wants to hear, right? And so Ty finally makes it home. She walks in and she's like, oh, why is my house dirty? And then on the sofa is her 13-year-old daughter, Delaney. And Delaney's looking at her like, what are you talking about? It's not dirty in here. And so Ty's walking around and she sits down. She has like she pulls out a baby bottle and a baby onesie. And her daughter says, what do you have that for? And her mom says, oh, well, I've been wanting to have a baby. And then Ty tells her too, she goes, well, I'm going to the cemetery to get spirits to bring the spirit of the baby and everything to me. And then daughter's like, why? Why would you do that? Matter of fact, what happened to Hottie? And Ty says, don't mention Hottie. Don't mention that name. That's a bad name. So Delaney, I think she's still stuck on the fact that her mom's not talking to Hottie anymore. So she's like, well, who are you talking to? She's like, well, I'm talking to someone else, another prisoner. And Delaney says, you're going to be talking to a prisoner or prisoners till you're 75 years old. And Ty gets upset with her daughter. Delaney gets up. She knocks stuff over. Now, I wonder where she gets that from, knocking stuff over and tearing stuff up. Ty's getting upset. Delaney walks to the kitchen. And Delaney says to producers, like, you know what? I really wish my mom would spend more time with me and do things with me and things would be better. What I'm getting from it is like my mom is talking to these prisoners but not spending time with me. And I think that Ty should really take that into account. I mean, she's 13, she's impressionable. That's something that Ty needs to think about, but I don't think that she really cares. And so then We see Ty again. She's talking to another prisoner. Some kind of way, Ty is talking about having a baby. She says, all we need is a vending machine. All I need is put on a big old granny dress, no panties, and that'll do it. And I'm thinking, now you really think that they're going to let you walk around while you're visiting a prisoner, just in your wear, just doing whatever? And you're just going to get away with that? And finally, we have Mark. Mark is at home. We see his mom cooking breakfast. Now, Mark is another one of these people who have met these prisoners on these pen pal sites and have different spreadsheets of the people they're talking to, like Ty. And so since things went left with Sensoray last week, because Sensoray was like, listen, I'm not into your games. I'm not into trying to get pregnant up here. I'm not trying to have you pass me nothing. I'm trying to do things on the up and up. I don't know what you're talking about. Matter of fact, why'd you have another woman on the phone when we were talking last week? So Sensoray and him have broken up. So now, while his mom is cooking breakfast, the phone rings and it's someone else. Hey, Antoinette, Alicia. She's like, oh, Alexis, whatever the name was. So he's calling this lady the wrong name already. So clearly he didn't mark off his spreadsheet to see who he was talking to. But Mark tells us that Alexis is different because she's about to get out of prison. She was in for drug charges. She only has a year and a half left, and he could see himself have a relationship with her. I'm like, yeah, but you said the same thing with Sensoray and the other lady that was on the phone with Sensoray. So every woman you think you could have a relationship with, Mark is really out there when it comes to this situation, socially awkward when it comes to talking to women and maybe forming a relationship. So while he's on the phone with Alexis, he walks over to his mom and wants his mom to have a conversation with her too. The mom has an awkward conversation. She really don't know what to say because, if it was me, I wouldn't either. And she's like, oh, so what are you up to? And the mom's like, well, I guess you're not doing too much because you really can in there. It wasn't shade, but it was true. And Alexis said, well, I just draw and I write poetry. And the mom's like, what kind of poetry? She says, slam poetry. She's like, I never heard of that. And then after the conversation is over with the mom and Mark, she asks Mark, like, why are you talking to these women? And what makes you think the conversations that you're having with them are on the up and up? She goes, it's coming across as like you're being a weirdo. And I'm thinking, I'm so glad his mom said that, because not only was I thinking it was social awkwardness with this conversation and one with Sensoray and just how he thinks that, oh, well, I can just pass you a vial of sperm, you get pregnant. Just the things that he's not thinking about, that's reality. Yeah, that is weirdo conversations. His mom was saying, why don't you just focus on like your career, your investments? Clearly Mark is doing a great job in that because he's made a good living for himself and, kind of like stay away from these prison pen pals. But Mark is old enough. He's going to do whatever it is that he's going to do. All right, everyone. So that was the end of this episode. Like I mentioned, it was mainly a filler episodes before the finale next week. And we'll go from there. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share, and leave your comments. And until next week, thank you all again for watching. Live simply, be grateful.